Hello there, boys and girls. It's Fog, and welcome back to another episode of Fog's Ride. Today we're headed east on I-90 because today's ride starts right here at Exit 20, High Point Way. Today we're going to ride one of my very favorite rides, the ride between Preston and Carnation. So, the reason I'm starting here instead of starting at the Preston exit is that I prefer to get off here and ride the back roads beside the freeway rather than ride on the freeway. It's much more pleasant to get down here on this little highway down here on this little road. Or it would be if this gentleman would make up his mind and get out of our way. We'll just carefully go around him. All right, if you are interested in taking this ride, the way to get here is from Seattle. You head east on I-90 and you get off at Exit 20 like I did just now. Then you turn left and you follow this road towards Preston. This is a small two-lane road that runs right beside I-90, which is what's over there on our right. Do bear in mind this road is occasionally patrolled, and it does go right past some houses. So you don't want to go blasting through here at high speed. That would be irresponsible and potentially very dangerous, and might even get you a ticket. We don't want that. So this is one of my favorite rides. I like this ride because it's pretty easy to get to from Bellevue, where I work. And I can head up this way and take this nice little ride. It goes through some beautiful country, and it's got some nice little twisty roads, and it's just a lot of fun to ride. And, it adds maybe a half an hour to my commute, but it's just so much fun, and it's relaxing. This is a pretty place to go. Although we were a little unfortunate to get behind this Ford truck here. Maybe he'll pull over and let us by in a minute. Oh, look at that, he did. Hey, thank you very much, sir. Or ma'am, or whatever. I didn't get a good look. But that was very kind of them. Of course, if he just waited to here, we'd have been able to pass him anyway, because up here in a minute this turns into a dotted line we could have passed. But that's okay. I appreciate being let by anyway. So let's talk a little bit about where we're going. This is I-90 heading up towards the pass here. We're just past Issaquah, and we got off at the exit before Preston. Up at the end of this road in front of us here is Preston. Preston is a small community that was originally built around a sawmill. It was built as a lumbering community. It's a place where the local lumberjacks would bring their wood to be turned into lumber. Obviously, because that's what a sawmill does, right? All of this country here was originally settled in the late 1900s, and mostly for the purposes of lumberjacking. And, we are in the middle of a temperate rainforest, and so it only makes sense that people would come here to harvest the logs. This area is, as you can tell, absolutely beautiful. It is heavily forested. Most of these trees are cedar, Douglas fir, occasional large maple, a lot of cottonwood, and now we are actually coming into Preston proper. So this is the Preston exit right here that we would have gotten off I-90 had we continued up here. But like I said earlier, I much prefer to get off down there and just ignore it, just enjoy that little ride there. It's nice and fast and fun to ride. So I'm recording this one on a day that's kind of typical of late summer, early fall days here in the Puget Sound. We get some gorgeous weather in this summer, but we also get a lot of days that are like this with lots of clouds, a little bit of overcast. Maybe you might even see a little bit of rain today. The reason I wanted to get out and do this today is because they tell me that for the next several days we're supposed to get some heavy rain. Something that's really welcome here because we've been in the middle of a drought. So getting some heavy rain, that's a good thing. Although it probably will mean there'll be some flooding along our rivers. But we'll see. Let this guy go, and then I'm going to just go right on through. Okay. But yeah, we have a bit of a gray day. It's a bit overcast, so no blue skies today. But then again, that means no bright sun either. So hopefully the video comes out pretty good. It should be relatively evenly exposed, I sure hope. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. So back there, that is what you might call commercial Preston that we just came through. A little bit of a freeway stop there, gas station. There's this park over here to the left where people play soccer and I think they play some Little League games there and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's it. This is all you get at Preston. There's not a whole lot more. Coming up ahead of us is Upper Preston. This is where I believe where the sawmill used to be. Might even still be here. Seem to remember there being a mill here. Yeah, Love Green Mill Road. Yeah, it's probably down that way. Anyway, it's a relatively quiet town. There is not a whole lot in Preston. Oh, somebody had a bad day there. So we are now on Preston Fall City Road. This is a famous destination, famous road for motorcyclists in the area. A lot of people like to ride bikes on this road because it's really pretty. And if you stay on this road, you can go head up north. We are heading north, by the way. You can head up north towards Fall City and then through Carnation and Duval and up to Monroe and just eventually go up to Stevens Pass and all that if you're so inclined. There's a lot of really beautiful places to ride back here. This Subaru is going insanely slow. Not in any hurry at all, are they? We'll see if they speed up when we get to this 45 speed limit sign. Yeah, maybe a little. But anyway, we're on Preston Fall City Road. We're going to head down to Fall City. Then we're going to head out to Carnation and down the Snoqualmie River Valley a little ways and stop just short of Duval. So, for those of you who have watched Animal Planet, you may be familiar with a show called Treehouse Masters. Well, the star of that show, Pete Nelson, has his base of operations is right on this road, and we're going to pass right by it. So it's called Treehouse Point, and it's up here a little ways on the right. I'll point it out as we pass it. So anyway, there's a little bit of a brush with celebrity for you. But for now, I think we will just sit back and enjoy this beautiful ride for a little bit. All right, and here it is. That on the right there, that is Treehouse Point. There you go. All visits must be arranged in advance. I have never been in there. I know my kids would love to go. I'm less interested than they are, I think. I'm not the kind of guy that really fawns over celebrity, but, hey, that's all right. He seems like a neat guy. So we're heading down into Fall City now. I suppose technically we are in the outskirts of Fall City. Fall City was, like most of the areas around here, established in the late 1900s. It was established around a dock that was the farthest upstream point you could take a boat on the Snoqualmie River. You can't get much farther north because if you go, farther east. Because if you go farther up the river from here, you quickly run into Snoqualmie Falls. We're not going to go out to Snoqualmie Falls on this ride. I probably will take us out there on another ride, but today that's not on the agenda. But I'll show you how to get there from here in case you're curious. So yeah, Falls City is downstream from Snoqualmie Falls. This was the farthest up the river you could get without leaving the river. And the other thing that created this community, real quick, that bridge, that little, I guess it's not really a covered bridge, but that bridge there heads out towards the Sammamish Plateau. So that's a lovely ride in its own right out that way. Anyway, the other thing that was around which Falls City was founded was apparently during the Native American War in this area when they were fighting with the Native Americans. They built a couple of forts here, and it was a place for the local settlers to take refuge, and this community was built around that. So there you go. That's as much as I know of Falls City history. Like I said, this is a very popular destination for motorcyclists. A lot of people will ride out here to get a bite to eat at a couple of the taverns that are here. A couple of places where it's very common to see lots of motorcycles parked while people enjoy a meal or a pint of something. And now we're coming into downtown Falls City. That greenish building on the right is it's the Falls City, what's it called? The Falls City Roadhouse, right there on the right. And on the left there is that tavern, is the Last Frontier Saloon, which is a very famous biker spot. The Roadhouse there, by the way, serves excellent meals. I really enjoy that place. I've eaten there a few times. If you were to go to the right here, that takes you up the Snoqualmie River, up to Snoqualmie Falls. It's just a short way up that road. But we're not going that way. Today we're going north 203. We're going towards Carnation. So yeah, the Roadhouse has great meals, and it is a true roadhouse. If you want, you can get a room there and spend the night. I'm not sure that too many people actually do, but I suppose you could. So anyway, 203, this is the highway that runs up to Monroe. Goes north from Falls City, goes up towards through Carnation and Duval, and it'll take you all the way up to Monroe if you stay on it. This is a very popular biker road. It's a fast road with a few turns, lots of pretty scenery, particularly on a sunny day. I suppose the weather isn't ideal for this ride, but it's not bad. It's still pretty. This is farm country. Falls City is a bit of a bedroom community. You get a lot of people living here going to Bellevue or Redmond or sometimes Seattle to work, so that's not uncommon. But you also get a lot of farmers. You've got a lot of grassland. You get occasional places like this farm over here on the right. Lots of berries, occasional sunflowers, corn, that sort of thing. I believe there's a cornfield up here on the left. A lot of people buy acreage here to keep horses. Yeah, there we go. There's the cornfield. We are nicely nestled in the Cascades foothills here. The Cascades are to our right. They're a bit, you can't see them from here. They're on the other side of that hill. But we are in the Cascade foothills. And this river valley here is the Snoqualmie River Valley. And it runs north. This valley runs north-south. The Snoqualmie River is off to our left, and it runs north and empties out into the Puget Sound. Really pretty river valley. Most of the geography here around Seattle was glacially formed, so most of the valleys here run north-south because that's the way the glaciers came in and then receded in the last ice age, and that's what formed a lot of this geography. So it's a combination of your glacial carving, which is what this valley was made from, and the Cascade Mountain Range is a volcanic mountain range on the Ring of Fire. That's the mountain range that hosts Mount Rainier and Mount Adams and Mount Hood and Mount Baker and Mount St. Helens, all those famous volcanoes that run north-south through Northern California all the way up through Canada. It's beautiful country, it really is. I really, really love this country. The scenery is so pretty. So like I mentioned in my first episode, this channel I'm going to use to post little rides like this and just whatever kind of strikes my fancy. I'm not going to promise to post on any kind of a schedule because this is pretty low priority for me. I'll just post it when the mood strikes. I would like to get a few in before the summer ends. I think we're good for maybe another month of summer-like weather before it truly gets into fall here. Come fall, the opportunities for posting videos like this will get less and less because we'll have more and more rain. We'll still have the occasional bright sunny day, but they're going to be few and far between once we get into the winter here. But I'll do my best to keep some content up here, keep some new content coming periodically, just to give you a reason to come back every once in a while and subscribe. Hopefully we see some fun things. If there are any places around the Northwest or frankly anywhere in the United States or Canada that you'd like to see me go, let me know. Maybe I'll go. I have a lot of great ideas for places I want to go and rides I want to highlight because I've found a lot of places around here that I really like to ride. And I'll try and highlight some of those, but I'm always on the lookout for additional places to ride and additional things to see, so go ahead and make a suggestion in the comments. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, I'd like to hear that too, and I'll see what I can do. So we are now coming into the outskirts of Carnation. Carnation used to be called Tolt, and Tolt got its name from the Tolt River, which comes through here, and I'm sure that was named after some explorer. I don't know the history of the river, but anyway, we'll talk some more about that in a minute. Off to the right, we have Remlinger Farms. Remlinger Farms is a working farm that also offers tours. It's a great place to take your kids. They'll, let them pet the animals and pick some of the produce and just get a kind of a feel for what it might be like to be on a working farm. It's kind of a nice place. My kids have been there several times. Off here to the left, we have, coming up here in a short ways, we have Tolt McDonald Park, which is a nice little campground. Stayed there a few times. When the kids are looking to go camping and I'm not eager to go very far from home, this is a common choice, just because it's so close to Redmond. You can get here in 20 minutes. So, Carnation used to be called Tolt after the Tolt River, which is off to our left. It joins up with the Snoqualmie River. And it was first called Tolt, then it was called Carnation, then it was called Tolt again, and then finally renamed back to Carnation. And now it's Carnation to stay. I can't imagine they'll ever change it. But that's why you see so many things around here with the name Tolt on it, because this place actually used to have that name. Now, Carnation gets its name from the Carnation Milk Company, which is a very famous dairy producer. They produce lots of the dairy in the United States, lots of milk and butter and cheese and things like that. And Carnation takes its name from the company because just on the outskirts of town is a place called Carnation Farm, which used to be owned by the Carnation Company, and it used to be a training farm for all of Carnation's dairy farmers. So if there were any dairy farmers working for Carnation who needed to be trained on how to run a dairy farm, they would come to the Carnation Farm, and that's where they would get their training. We have the Carnation Cemetery off to the right. Now, like I said, if you were to follow this road farther north, it would take you up to Duval and then eventually to Monroe. We're not going to do that ride today. Today, instead, I think I'm going to take us out by Carnation Farm. And the turnoff to that is up here on the left. We should get there pretty soon. In the last 25 years, this place has really grown quite a bit. It's still a relatively small community, but they've put in a lot more homes than used to be here. It's grown quite substantially. I think we have some sunflowers on the right. And a little bit of sun peeking through the clouds. It's brightening up a little bit. Actually, those are just wildflowers. Different flowers, not sunflowers. Looks like there are some sunflowers back in there, but mostly it's all sorts of flowers. So we're going to turn right before this here cornfield and head out to the Carnation Farm. Corn's almost ready to harvest. All right, like I said, this farm that we're coming up to, Carnation Farm, used to be a training farm for the Carnation Milk Company. It no longer is. That farm on our left is not Carnation Farm. That is an actual working farm over there. Carnation Farm was sold by the Carnation Company a while back, and these days it is home to Camp Corey, which is a youth camp. Snoqualmie River. Yeah, Camp Corey is a youth camp. I don't know a whole lot about it, but my understanding is it's where you can send your kids to learn a little bit about farming. Because why not, you know? It seems like a good thing to do. Oh, lovely road. So much fun here. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to ride. Beautiful trees growing down in the valley there. Carnation Farm is really well kept these days. Then we get a little bit of an overhead view of some of the farm property. And now that's Carnation Farm up on the hill there. All right, we're going to go through a little bit of a speed limit change here because this farm is right on the highway here, and they do occasionally have kids. That area there is the old milking barn. Obviously, it is not used as a milking barn anymore. It has long since given up that purpose. And this is Camp Corey right here, the old Carnation farm. And like I said, you know, you can tell the grounds are really well kept. It's a beautiful place. And over here on the far side of this building, you can see the Carnation Farm cow. There you go. Little monument to Carnation milk. So off in the distance to our right, you have the Cascade Mountains. Can't get a good view of them yet, but when we come around the valley, you'll get a better view of it. All right, we're going to turn here at West Snoqualmie Road. This is going to take us along the western side of the Snoqualmie River Valley. We could have gone on the other side, and like I said, that would have taken us to Duval, and then we could have cut across the valley to get out to Novelty Hill Road, which is where we're going to end this ride. But I much prefer to come through here because it's a lot less traveled, and it is really pretty. Much more fun ride. A good view of the valley here. Hopefully that comes out well. Slow down a bit for the houses here. Got a lot of farmhouses here on the side of the road. We don't want to come blow through here. Active dairy farm. All right. So out there to the right, that is Cascade Mountain Range. Lovely view. Now that V, that I don't know if you can see it or not, there is a V. When we go around the corner, I'll try and get you another look. There's a V-shaped valley that hopefully you'll be able to see here as we come around the corner. Here we go. I'll give you a little peek at it. So that valley there, that is the Tult Valley. I mean, not the Tult Reservoir Valley. And that kind of square-shaped mountain on the right-hand side of that valley is Mount Phelps. Now, I have long wanted to take a ride over to the Tult Reservoir and get a closer look at Mount Phelps. It's one of the more distinctive mountains on the Cascade Range that you can see from Bellevue and Kirkland and Redmond and all that. Unfortunately, I can't. It turns out that the Tult Reservoir and the watershed that feeds it are all completely off limits to civilians. That reservoir is one of the chief water sources for the Seattle metropolitan area. And back in the early 20th century, or the mid-20th century, I think it was the early 20th century, the 40s and 50s anyway, the Seattle municipality and Washington State bought up all the land around that watershed, among other places. They bought up several watersheds. That was one of the closer ones. They bought up all the land around that watershed and they closed it off in order to keep the water source from being contaminated. And now the only people allowed in there are people that are either working for the water district or people that have gotten permits to log the land. It's forestry land. So Forestry Service people can get there. There is a corner of the watershed that's owned by the National Forest Service, and obviously they can get into there. But yeah, outsiders? Nope, no outsiders. All right, we're coming to the end of our ride here, guys. We're going to end here, this turn to Novelty Hill Road. We're going to turn left, go up the hill. This takes us up towards Redmond Ridge. And if you were to keep following Novelty Hill Road, it would take you out to Avondale and eventually to Redmond. But yeah, this is one of my favorite rides. I love to take this ride on the way home. It's a lot more fun than taking the freeway, let me tell you. All right. So anyway, as we come riding up Novelty Hill Road here, our ride for the day is coming to a close. I'm afraid I'm going to have to end it here in just a little bit. Like I said, if you have any comments or suggestions, please post them down below. I do read them. And hopefully you've enjoyed the ride. I know I've enjoyed it. I love this ride. Hopefully you've enjoyed the ride, and hopefully you'll come back for more. Stick around, subscribe, and I will post another ride as soon as I get a chance to make the video. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.